All right, everybody, welcome back to another video. And we are going to jump right into part two. If you're not familiar with the channel, this is Multi-Gen Collectibles YouTube channel. If you're not following yet, please click that follow button. And hopefully you appreciate and connect and enjoy the stories behind each of these videos as we go through these cards. And if it resonates with you, if you connect to the story, please drop a comment and let me know how you connect with the journey of these cards. In the previous video, we looked at this box right here, this Kmart Topps 1987 Stars of the Decades anniversary, 25-year anniversary collector's edition. This was a special box, this was a special collection because for me, this was the very first time that any cards were bought for me, and it was bought by my mom at Kmart. And for those of you that remember Kmart, you remember how instrumental and huge that store was for our upbringing in the 80s and the 90s. So shout out to Kmart. Blue Light Special, aisle 2. Today, we're gonna get into this box here. And as I mentioned in the previous video as a preview, I wanted you to look at two things. Number one, this black stamp right across the top. It says baseball 1986. And then here it has my name. Now, I'm not gonna go too deep into this, but yes, this actually has my birth name on it. It says Joey Monreal. And there's a long backstory that I'm not gonna get into, but it's crazy because this box with my name on it was given to me as a, I want to say, end of season fundraiser prize when I was about 7 years old. And I may have been in my first ever season or second ever season of playing, not T-ball, but Little League. Of playing Little League baseball in Vandenberg / Lompoc, California. I received this as a prize, and I think it was for fundraising. Well, that was 1986/87. I want to say it was 87, and I was only 7 or 8 years old at the time. This was my first ever box of cards. This right here was my second ever box of cards, but it was the first time that it was purchased for me. So this was my first box ever purchased for me. So what we're about to do for the very first time in about 35 years is look in this box. And this is gonna take us maybe 2 or 3 episodes, okay? So be prepared for some nostalgia. And I wanted to set up this opening with the backstory because for all of us, we have a different backstory of what got us into collecting cards. This was the beginning for me. This was the inception. This box of 500 cards right here. Some of you know this box. Some of you are familiar with this Topps Picture Cards box. If you look really closely, it says 500 count vending pack. Produced by the world's largest publisher of picture cards for America's fastest growing hobby. Again, this is 1986. It says an educational hobby for boys and girls. Topps for the fun of it. And it's wild because here we are in 2025 and you have to wonder, is it really about the fun? Is collecting sports cards really about fun, or is it about investing? Here we go, y'all. Let's open this up for the first time in about 35 years, maybe 30 years. Let's do it together, y'all. Let's see what we have in here. Oh man, look at that. Oh man. Let me tell you something. For these cards to be in such great condition already, you could take a look. These are in great condition and they have survived this box. All right. Let's go from left to right. How about that? All right. Let's start the rotation from left to right. Here we go. let's pull some of these out without destroying them, without messing them up. We'll pull out a few at a time, so that way, you know, we take care of them a little bit better than just trying to take a big old chunk out of them. All right, here we go. 1986 Topps. Oh my gosh, dude. And you know what? It's so crazy because they feel like cardboard. They literally feel like cardboard. I don't know what other way to describe this, but this feels like cardboard. And to feel these for the first time in this long, it's wild. Here we go. 86 Topps. You got Atlanta Braves leaders. You got Del Murphy right there. Moving on, we have Chris Chambliss. Oh gosh, I love the thick black border with the font, the way it does, and you got the white on the bottom. This was such an iconic year for Topps, such an iconic set for Topps. If you were to ever bring this back, that'd be legendary. Can we? I don't know if it's ever been done. I'm gonna assume maybe it has on a couple different anniversary occasions. But how dope would it be to see a brand new full set or a throwback subset or parallels in this? Again, I just got back into this, so if it's been done, I apologize. But for me, from just a position of nostalgia, that'd be so dope. Dale Murphy, another Dale Murphy, Rick Mahler, Bruce Sutter. Looks like we have a lot of Braves. I wonder if I put these in order of team at some point, which is what I'm gonna assume. Terry Harper, Bobby Wine, Glenn Hubbard. All right, I'm guessing I put these into team order at some point as a kid, unless they came this way. I don't know how else they would be in team order so far. Rick Cerrone. Looks like we have doubles of Rick Cerrone. Bruce Benedict, I remember that name. Gerald Perry, Rafael Ramirez, Jeff Dedman, Gene Garber, Milt. Look at Milt Thompson. Mike Jones. Back then, they didn't know me. Here we go. Look at George Brett. Now we're moving on to the Royals. Frank White. Frank White. Okay, I see you. Jorge Horta. Buddy Biancala. Dane Ewing. Another Frank White. Look at this. George Brett, AL All-Star. Dick Hauser. Bud Black. Mark Kubica. Dan Quisenberry. Now we're moving on to the Giants. All right, we're gonna do about 2 videos on this, so we're not gonna take too long, but more than anything, man, just look at the condition of these cards. I don't know if you can really see the corners on camera, but these corners look great. For the most part, they may not be PSA 10s, but these are not bad. For them being in this box this whole time, I'm not mad at it. All right, David Green. Now we got the Indians, right? Pat Tabler. Look at Joe Carter. Look at Joe. Jerry Willard, Indians leaders. Jeff Barkley. Trying to recognize any solid names, right? Mel Hall. Back to the Giants. Looks like we got 1 card out of order, maybe. Frank Williams. Roger Craig, the manager. Scott Garrelts. Chris Brown. But not the dancer, not the singer. Alex Trevino. Turn back the clocks. I remember the turn back the clocks. That's funny. Look at that. We got doubles of that. Turn back the clock with Willie Mays. Dan Dreesen. No Kevin Mitchells, no Will Clarks. That's a shame. That's too bad. Orioles, Rick Dower, Alan Wiggins, Sammy Stewart. We have a Cal Ripken. We got 2. Okay. All right. Corners, not the best, you know. Again, definitely not PSA 10s. Cal Ripken, 2 of those, and a Cal Ripken AL All-Star. I will take it. And we got Eddie Murray. Another Eddie Murray in there. So we got 2 Hall of Famers. Cal Ripken Jr., Eddie Murray. Oh, we got another Eddie Murray. We got doubles of the Eddie Murray. We'll take doubles of Eddie Murray. Dan Ford with the cop glasses. I don't know why, but those always remind me of the Chips series with the CHP. Those are like the cop glasses. Oh, Denny Martinez. I had no idea that he played for Baltimore. I thought he was an Expos his whole career. All right, Denny Martinez was on the Orioles. Frank Robinson. Look at that. Turn back the clock card. Frank. Mike Flanagan. Len Sakata. All right. Japanese player in the 80s. I like it. I like it. Roy Smith. Now we're back to the Indians. So it looks like we're not necessarily completely in team order, but they are grouped together by team. Back to Joe Carter, Mike Hargrove, Pat Corrales, Ramon Romero. Okay. Now we're moving on to the Padres. Look at that. Look at that. Even Goose, the Goose. The Goose has his cop glasses on too. Got his Tom Cruise, Top Gun, fighter jet, aviator glasses on. I see you, Goose. Tony Gwynn. All right. We'll take a Tony Gwynn. 86 Topps. Okay. Let's see. Another Goose Gossage. Gary Templeton. Craig Nettles. Luis De Leon. Now we're moving on. Looks like the Pirates. Looks like we have Sixto Lezcano to kick things off for Pittsburgh. Let's see. Trying to make sure they don't fall over themselves too bad. And let's do one more stack, and then we'll break this up into a second part. All right, here we go. Back to Pittsburgh. Jim Wynn. Sammy Khalifa. Okay, so we had an Arabic player. We had an Arabic player in the 80s. All right. Sid Bream. Junior Ortiz. I remember Junior Ortiz. Jose De Leon. That iconic Pittsburgh Pirates hat. Such an iconic hat, man. Like, if you're gonna do a Pittsburgh or if you're gonna do a throwback of any hat ever, it's got to be this one. Greatest throwback hat. Johnny Ray. Look at Johnny Ray. Yeah, that hat is iconic, man. Now we're moving on to the Boston Red Sox. We got Oil Can Boyd. We got Jim Rice. Bruce Hurst. And again, Jim Rice is in the Hall of Fame, right? Jackie Gutierrez. Dave Stapleton. Bob Stanley. Red Sox leaders with Wade Boggs. Steve Crawford. Steve Lyons. Bob Ojeda. Stapleton. Okay, all right. Moving on to Houston Astros. Craig Reynolds, Mark Bailey, Dickie Thon, Dave Smith, Jose Cruz, Bill Doran, Harry Spillman. Do we have a Nolan Ryan? Nah, no Nolan Ryan. Dwayne Walker. Now moving on to Texas Rangers. From Houston to Arlington. Greg Harris. What is this? Oh, this is an interesting card. Let's see here. What we got? We have Pete Rose, 1967, 1968, 69, and 70. What kind of an insert year, or what kind of insert card is this? Did they do a Pete Rose insert set in 86? That's what it looks like, right? Because this one is focusing on 67, 68, 69, 70. This is 63, 64, 65, 66. Okay, so these are different Pete Rose Topps cards over that 8-year window. That's interesting. Okay. So it looks like a little Pete Rose subset, and there's Pete Rose there as manager of the Cincinnati Reds. How interesting. But then you have the Pete Rose first base player manager card. Wow. Okay, this is really dope. Again, Pete Rose is not in the Hall of Fame for gambling reasons, right? But he's hands down the greatest hitter of all time, if not one of the 2 or 3 greatest hitters of all time. So to make the argument that he does not deserve to be in the Hall of Fame would be totally incorrect from what he did on the baseball field, from what he did as a player. But this is a really cool subset. I had no idea that they did this. So we got the Pete Rose throwback cards. We got the Pete Rose manager card. We have the Pete Rose player manager as first base and manager. And then we have the 85 record breaker for most hits ever in a lifetime card. There we go. This is wild. Again, I'm seeing these for the very first time in at least 30 to 35 years. Dave Parker, Hall of Famer. Rest in peace to Dave Parker, just passed away last summer too, summer of 25. Gary Redus. Back to the Rangers. Back to the Angels. Rod Carew. Okay, so I think we'll stop there for today, okay? And we'll do a part 2 and maybe a part 3 of this box alone. And at least that gives us an understanding of what we're looking at from just this box. All right, everybody? Wow. I'm gonna leave these cards where they're at, so that way you see on camera that I did not mess with the placement and manipulate the cards in any way. All right? So thank you for joining me again as we travel down this very nostalgic road, going back into my childhood. This was the introduction to sports card collecting for me. This was it for me. This was it. This was the beginning. This was the inception. And I get to share that with y'all. And I really, really appreciate that opportunity. Thank you for watching. Again, please comment down below if this is resonating or connecting with you in any way, and you feel like sharing your story of this 1986 Topps collection or your own story of your own journey and introduction to sports cards, please feel free to do so. And I will catch you in part 3. We'll see you in the next one, y'all. Peace out.